I'm going to introduce our MC for the evening. We are privileged and proud to have with us tonight a local celebrity who does a really wonderful morning show, Travis Condon from WPKZ. Travis, the show is yours.
Good evening. How are you? A little louder? Hey, there we go. All right. I'm going to get a little more excitement. I know we're at the senior center, but come on. All right. So we're going to have some fun tonight. Steve, I suggest you drink that coffee soon. That way you're not spitting it out on anything later on. So I'm now very excited and very honored to be here tonight. When Dan first approached me, I said, I work in radio. This is going to be the first night I haven't had ramen in weeks. This is perfect. Very excited to be here. So before we start, I was given this dossier on Steve. I've got page after page after page. And if that's any indication of the dirt that Joan David has on Steve, you're going to be in for a fun night. So also on the list, we have, Joan David will be speaking, Representative Stephen Hay, who's taken over the seat from Fitchburg Mayor Stephen DiNatale. And we also have Smitty. I would tell you Smitty's real name, but all I've told is he's Smitty. Just Smitty. That's all we've got. All right, so before we start, if anyone is coming from the John Fitch area, don't worry, they have Ubers all set with jet skis, so you're all set. And Jen, I believe he's contacted your office about relief already, so perfect. Excellent. Now, Steve didn't know this, but his formative years at the time, I got his bio. He graduated proud St. Bernardian, and he wasn't sure that, his formative years would prepare him for his career as a corrections officer, but I've never seen someone with a baton more accurate than a nun. And then he wondered, when he became state representative, people said, Steve, why do you want to become state representative? He said, I've been dealing with crooks long enough, I figure I might as well get a bigger paycheck for it. Sorry, Jen. Now, Steve is a great individual. I've never met anyone who has so many grandmothers in the area. Everybody has adopted him. He has so many nannies, so many memes, so many abuelas, you name it, he's got it. He is everyone's favorite grandson, so much to the point that when I go over to my grandmother's house, an Oak Hill resident, I'm a little bit jealous when I look at the fridge and see that there's more pictures of him than myself. And I'm her only grandson. And I'll also have you know, as a Catholic household, I find it a little surprising. And as a Catholic, I find it a little bit surprising that there's more pictures of him than there are of the Pope in our house. So, speaking of pictures, here's a man who shows up for his monthly radio visit. We're all in gym shorts and sweatshirts, some of us pajama pants, and he's got his three-piece suit, just in case someone with a camera is within 50 feet of him.
That's not true.
And if you haven't had time to take a photo with Steve, don't worry. Just take out your cameras, take a selfie. Doesn't matter where you are in the building. You could be out in the parking lot. When you look at it later, he will be in the picture. I guarantee it. But no, we're very honored to have Steve here. Steve has had so many great accomplishments as mayor, and we are going to go over some positive aspects of his mayoral term.
Oh, thank you.
Well, there's only positive aspects, I promise, but no. He has done some fantastic accomplishments, whether it is meeting the net school spending, working successfully with State Senator Jen Flanagan, and going through my papers with Joan here. Joan, why did you give me so many papers? So many papers. But Steve, we're very happy to have you here as mayor. It's been a pleasure just seeing your enthusiasm when you come in once per month for your monthly visits, to see how you've taken the reign. I know you're a little bit nervous talking with us each time, but the passion that you have when you come in is incredible. It's incredible when you come in. So I just want to thank you for your great service so far as your first year of mayor. And right now we are going to turn it over to our guest of honor. So if you want to make fun of any of us, please feel free to. You have to give some kind of remarks. Oh, he's at the end. Oh, at the end.
I'm at the end.
Oh, I got the guest of honor. Okay. So, all right. So,
I haven't got anything to be angry about. Come on. Yeah, I know.
Are you sure? All right. So, I think. So, did you guys rock paper scissors for it yet? Do we know? All right. So we'll have Steve Hay go first. So, Steve, welcome to the floor. It's all yours.
got a bag.
Call props.
I have a joke there, Al. Oh, as usual, we have to lift this thing up. How's this work? Yeah. There we go. You and everybody else will have to put it back down. Thank you. I'm honored to have been asked to participate in tonight's event. For me, this is a twofer. One is to help raise money for the Rotary, the leading service group in Fitchburg. And two, while we may have a few laughs at his expense, we're here to honor a man that I admire and respect, Mayor DiNatale. My comments tonight will be brief. I could have said my comments will be short, but people may have thought I was making fun of the mayor. A while ago at an event, they were taking a picture of Steve and I, and someone commented, "Look, Mutt and Jeff." I said, "Hey, who you calling a mutt?" And the person said, "Don't worry, Mutt was the short one." In preparing for tonight, I thought I should do some research. So I contacted some of Steve's classmates at St. Bernard's High School. I said that since Steve was a class officer, he must have been popular. They said no, nobody else wanted the position. When Steve joined the House of Representatives, he was elected president of the incoming class. When I asked other reps how Steve won that election, they said he made them an offer they couldn't refuse. I asked the Speaker of the House if he could say something nice about Steve's time as a rep, and he said, and this is a quote, "No." When I was elected, I was given Steve's seat in the 1st Division between Rep. Smitty Pignatale and Rep. Frank Moran. They told me that when Steve sat between them, he asked if he was in the inner circle. And they said, "No, Steve, but keep working at it." A few months later, Steve asked again about being in the inner circle, and they said again, "No, Steve, but keep working at it." Finally, Steve asked for the 3rd time about the inner circle, and Frank took a piece of paper out of his desk and said, "Steve, all the dots inside this circle, they're the folks in the inner circle. This dot way up here in the corner, that's you. Keep working at it, Steve." As some of you may know, Steve recently became a grandfather. When Marcus and Sarah were deciding on a name for the baby, Marcus suggested Steve. Sarah said no, it would traumatize the baby. Marcus asked how. Sarah said the baby would grow up thinking you were talking to him when he hears, "Steve, that's a bad idea and I won't support it." As we all know, there's an election in a few weeks. I think Steve is hoping that Hillary gets elected, because with Trump's view on immigration, we'd have to send Steve back to Leominster. Many people say that Steve ran for mayor of Fitchburg because he loves Fitchburg. I don't buy it. I think, like any guy that's been married for 35 years, Steve was looking for a place he could be in charge. Having said all these things about the mayor, I want everyone here to know that I am honored to call him my friend and my mayor. Thank you. I do have 2 other things to say. One is an impersonation, and I'm not real good at it, but you'll understand, is anytime Steve's at an event, this is one thing I always hear. Where's AJ? We need a picture. Where's AJ? We need a picture. And I have a gift here for Steve. A friend of mine, retired Deputy Chief Bob Haley, called me this afternoon and asked me if I could present Steve with this. This is from a long time ago, and I'll read his card. It says, Irish diplomacy, the ability to tell a man to go to hell so that he look forward to making the trip. Steve, to think we used to wear this jersey over shoulder pads. Continued best wishes from one proud Bernardian to another, Bobby Haley. Mr. Mayor, if you'd open that up and take a look at that.
Okay. Oh my God! Wait a minute.
That is Steve's St. Bernard's High School football shirt.
Where did you get that?
Bobby wore that shirt after Steve, and when Bobby was a senior, they were getting new uniforms the next year, and they let the seniors take them. He's had it for 45 years. No, but he did say that since this was a roast, I should remind people that when Bobby wore that shirt, he actually blocked and tackled.
Wait a minute. I was the captain.
Yeah, just like you were the president.
Look at this. I can't believe it.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Wow.
Let's bring this back down to a more reasonable height. All right, thank you, Steve. That was fantastic. Excellent. Next up, we have Joan David, who I'm sure has been preparing for this for how many years now at this point. This is a woman who sees Steve every day in, day out, through car rides, through meetings, through his best of days and his worst of days. She's always there by his side. And this is her chance to speak up and tell us all the good things about Steve.
Oh boy.
Really? Can we talk? I do have to go to work Monday, so...
Yeah, you hope.
I first got to hear about Steve DiNatale when I was working for Emil Gogan. I was Emil's aide for about 8 years, and Emil's French, I'm French, we're low-key, you know, everything's... All of a sudden, I get thrown in with an Italian. I feel like I got thrown in with a pit bull. Really. He can be, well, you started to get calmer after working with me because I'd say, calm down. I had never worked with an Italian, okay? Okay, anyways, and I love Italians, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Driving into Boston. Have any of you driven into Boston with him? Does anybody want to? Pick me, pick me. In 2008, I started driving in with him. The first 2-week session started, and throw short legs and a telephone in there on top of it. This is, you know, and the traffic is really bad, and he's asking me to look for something in my pocketbook, and after about 2 weeks, we're walking in from Ashburton Place, and I said, I'm driving from now on. And he couldn't understand why. And I said, I'm car sick. I've been coming here for like 2 weeks. Every time we came in, I was nauseous. Because he can read, he can do anything. I can't. So, you know, we had to iron things out. So that was one of the things that, good. My phone. God forbid I say I can't find my phone. Are you ready? Right? We go in with the police chief, the former police chief, and he had just gotten a brand new phone. He's a big shot, right? We pull on to Starrow Drive. We hear boom, 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 boom. It was his new phone. I never heard anymore. Wait a minute, I got something else here. And then, I mean, really, when you look at him, I didn't know him when we started to work together, so it took a while, and I got to know him driving into Boston, and that's when I'd see he'd pick me up, and I'm rushing like heck, and God forbid I'm a minute late. He's got the shirt, the cufflinks, the shoes, the rings, and the foo-foo juice. He's got it all. He's got it all. And after a couple of months, I said, "You're the best-dressed person in the State House." He was. He was. He's still the best dressed. And now when anybody's looking for him at City Hall, they'll say, "Did you see Steve?" And I'll say, "Just walk around and sniff. You'll find him." I just decided to do this when I got out of the shower tonight. I said, because, I'm always behind the scenes, and I'll even say to him, "Can I finish my sentence?" And I said, tonight I want to say a few things, so that's why I'm here. I love working for him. I love being behind the scenes, and I love him. He's done good work. The people that are working with him are starting to see his, 7 o'clock in the morning. "Call me." Right? Yeah. I haven't gotten one of those in a while. I got it last weekend. "Call me." It was nice to call him. I couldn't focus, though. It was so early in the morning.
Say when I call you that early. I hope I've woken you up.
He knows he always wakes me up. He always wakes me up. But it's been an honor to work for him. I'm so glad that he kept me on to go to the city, and I hope we have many more years together. Thank you.
I want to thank Joan for letting us be a part of her couples therapy session for a few minutes right there. Next up, we have another great friend of Fitchburg Mayor Stephen DiNatale. We have the representative known only as Smitty.
I got props too. Props too, huh? Yeah. Oh my God. Not looking though. Okay, I'm not gonna look. Oh my God.
No, Sarah, leave that alone.
All right, I'm leave that alone.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Yes, it did take me 3 hours to get here. And I think I met your Chamber of Commerce. Not very nice. I got cut off. I got the bird flipped to me. Then I went into a grocery store looking for an egg timer because anybody who knows Stevie, his attention span is not very long. So I was looking to buy an egg timer, and I can't find one anywhere in this city. So I went into Whole Foods, and I'm walking down up and down every aisle, and somebody came up to me and asked me where the taco aisle was. They thought I worked there. I can't get rid of this guy, but I love him dearly, and I can't get rid of Fitchburg. I picked up my local newspaper, the Berkshire Eagle, the second section. We're learning about a U.S. soldier killed in Iraq, and our congressman saying the Senate will flip and the House won't. Turn it over. Rosenberg's going to legalize pot. Oh, Representative Steve Hay in my local newspaper. You get more coverage out in the Berkshires than out down here. Here you go. Now, I had an opportunity. The Cubs haven't made the World Series since 1945. I was offered a ticket to be in Chicago tonight for what could be the clinching game that they'll go to the World Series. And I said no. Because I have to go to Fitchburg to see my friend, Steve DiNatale. And I made the right decision.
I would have been in Chicago.
Well, if they win tonight and they go to the World Series, I'm glad it was this weekend, not next weekend. I love Steve. He and I got to be very good friends in the house, and he's been out to my district. I've been down here a couple of times. Did I say he's been out to my district once? This is like my fourth time. But I had the pleasure of meeting his mom, at the swearing in, and I'm sure she's very proud of him and all that he's accomplished. But I had a nice chat with her, and I said, "Can you send me some old photographs?" And so she did, and she sent me a baby picture.
Front page of the Sentinel tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Look at the Sentinel. Look at it. She's right here.
It kind of looks like him, though, doesn't it? Ronald Reagan once said that politics is supposed to be the second oldest profession. After serving with Steve for 10 years, I realized that it bears a very close resemblance to the first. And I've always wondered, how the hell does a guy like this get elected? He told me how. He offered his opponents a deal. If you stop telling lies about me, I'll stop telling the truth about you. But look at him. Looks like he stepped out of GQ. Joan said it best. He is the best dresser, I think, anywhere in the legislature, certainly the House.
You're not too shabby.
Well, this is a rental, though. I got to get it back to Finnerty and Stevens for a wake tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. Look at him. Stand up. This. Look at that. The shirt, the tie, the cufflinks. Where's the handkerchief thing?
I know. I'm missing that. I know. I should.
Who would have thought they prepackaged suits at Oshkosh? When Stevie gave his maiden speech, that's the one time, that's probably the only time in the legislature, and it's great to see Senator Flanagan here, because, she's not speaking tonight because she's got too much on him. She's not invited to my roast either, because her and I shared an office when she was in the House, so she's got too much on me. But I got a lot on her, too. But it's great to have her here. She's been not only a great friend, but a great ally. But as the legislators know, when you give your maiden speech, that's probably the first and only time that you actually have the legislature's full attention. You're expected to all be in the room and actually pay attention. I'll tell you a quick story. I gave my maiden speech 12 years ago. My aunt was 91 years old, my godmother. And it was actually on same-sex marriage. And it was covered wire to wire on New England Cable Network. And I gave my maiden speech at 10:30 at night. My Aunt Josephine calls me the next day and says, "Congratulations, you gave a beautiful speech. Your father would be proud. Your grandfather would be proud. And I noticed you were the only one the entire day that got a standing ovation." My aunt died at 101 a couple of years ago. But she went to her grave believing her nephew gave one hell of a speech to the legislature. Because I never told her that I was the only one who gave a maiden speech that day, and the protocol is to give a standing ovation. So when Stevie gave his maiden speech, we're all sitting there very proud. He came back, he sits down next to me, and I said, "Congratulations." "What the hell did you say?" I couldn't understand a word he said. I felt I was in a scene of My Cousin Vinny or an episode of The Sopranos. We say our R's in the Berkshires. I didn't understand a damn thing he said. So from that day forward, his nickname was Bada Bing. But Stevie spent a lot of time in the House and was a very well-respected legislator. Two of his biggest allies.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Look at that. How do you like that one?
I heard about this. Now, folks,
Look at that, huh? Yeah.
this is not Photoshop.
No.
Those two legislators on the side are only 5'9". Oh, sure.
The Kulik.
We came with props.
How do you like that one? They're like what? 6'8"?
Well, one's 6'6" and one's 6'8".
Right.
And one's a Republican. No, one's a Democrat.
Steve Kulik.
Which reminds me of the time Steve got stopped on the turnpike. Joan wasn't with him. And Stevie wasn't too happy because he was in a hurry to get to the State House. And the trooper said, "Step out of the car." Now, this trooper was probably 6'6" or 6'8". And Stevie was always in a rush, as you know. And Stevie says, "Do you know who I am?" And the trooper said, "I have no idea who you are. Who are you?" And Steve goes, "Well, I'm not happy." He says, "Which one are you?" But I encourage you to go to the mall during the holiday season this year, because I hope he's still doing it as mayor, because he did it all the time he was a state rep. He still has a part-time job during the holidays. Elf on a shelf. How many of you know he was pickpocketed at the State House? His first week. I still can't figure out how anybody could stoop that low. We spent a lot of time together, especially during what we call Hell Week, which is our budget week. We're there from 9, 10 o'clock in the morning until sometimes 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, even beyond. So we have a lot of idle time, and we're always thinking about talking about our districts, talking about our families, and I think that's how we got to be so close. And I got to know his daughter very well, who's going to name her new baby after Smitty, I'm sure. But that's the beauty of those long days where you get to know your colleagues. But Stevie's always been kind of one of those wannabe engineers and going to solve all the world's problems. And we're talking about the gun violence in America and all these innocent victims that are getting shot around the country but around the world. So Stevie came up with a new thing for gun control. And I had that blown up too.
You put too much time into it. You know that.
I got a long drive home. Can anybody check the score of the game? 0-0. That's good. I haven't missed anything. Probably hasn't even started yet. Stevie came home from school one day and told his dad that tomorrow's a special adults meeting in school. His father, looking surprised, and said, "Well, who's going to be there?" And Steve said, "You, the teacher, the principal, and 2 policemen." That didn't go over that well, did it? The little Italian boy goes to confession. "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I have been with a loose woman." The priest asks, "Is that you, little Stevie D?" "Yes, Father, it is." "And who was the woman you were with?" "I can't tell you, Father. I don't want to ruin her reputation." "Well, Steve, I'm sure to find out her name sooner or later, so you might as well let me know." "Was it Tina Minetti?" "I cannot say." "Was it Teresa Volpe?" "I'll never tell." "Was it Nina Capelli?" "I'm sorry, Father, I can't name her." "Was it Kathy Periano?" "My lips are sealed," Steve would say. "Was it Rosa D'Angelo then?" "Please, Father, I cannot tell you." The priest sighs in frustration. "You're very tight-lipped, Steve, and I admire that. But you've sinned, and you have to atone. You cannot be an altar boy now for 4 months. Now go and behave yourself." Stevie walks back to the pew, and his friend Nino slides over and whispers, "What'd you get?" Steve says, 4 months vacation and 5 good leads. I always wondered why Steve would pray before formal sessions. He said his mother always told him to say your prayers before you go to sleep.
That's right.
But Steve, like me and a lot of Italian Americans, we're very proud of our heritage. And it reminds me of a story that Steve would say over and over again, and I really love the story. But it was about an 18-year-old Italian girl who came home and told her mom that she had missed her period for 2 months. Very worried, the mother goes to the drugstore and buys a pregnancy kit. The test results, sure enough, showed that the girl was pregnant. Shouting, cursing, crying, the mother says, "Who was this that did this to you? I want to know." Well, the girl picks up the phone and makes a call. Half an hour later, a Ferrari stops in front of their house. A mature and distinguished man with gray hair and impeccably dressed in an Armani suit steps out of the Ferrari and enters the house. He sits in the living room with his father, mother, and the girl and tells them, "Good morning. Your daughter has informed me of the problem. I can't marry her because of my personal family situation, but I'll take charge. I'll pay all costs and provide you for your daughter for the rest of her life. Additionally, if a girl is born, I will bequeath a Ferrari, 2 retail stores, a townhouse, a beachfront villa, and a $2 million bank account. If a boy is born, my legacy will be a couple of factories and a $4 million bank account. If twins, they will each receive a factory and $2 million. However," the gentleman says, "if there's a miscarriage, what do you suggest I do?" At this point, the father, who had remained silent holding a gun, places a hand firmly on the man's shoulders and tells him, "You're going to try again." Stevie and I miss him in the house, and you should be very proud of his replacement, Steve Hay, because he sits right next to me as well, and we're doing some good things together, and I think it's quite a dynamic trio with the mayor and Steve and I doing some good things. But Steve and I talk to each other once in a while, and we always talk to each other at the holidays. And one of our favorite sayings to each other when we hang up is, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." So I got a sweater. That says, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." Here you go, bud. I'm not done yet. He is kind of high maintenance, though. Jen knows that. Joan knows that. We've done a few things together. And this last picture is, I love this picture. Yep. And I love that picture because it's not only because the Stanley Cup is taller than Steve. It's a picture of me and my friend. And we've seen the Stanley Cup together. We've been to ball games together. But what a pain in the rear end he can be. We got invited to watch a Celtic game in Paul Pierce's suite at Boston Garden. Free food, free drink, good view of the game. You can edit this out, Fitchburg TV. He bitched the whole night. This is the best that Paul Pierce has? The guy behind the Celtics.
It wasn't center court. I'm thinking, why?
But I do love that picture because it reminds me Steve reminds me of a guy who is there for the right reasons. His love and respect and admiration for this community he wears on his sleeve every single day and the time we were together. And he reminds me of a quote that was given to me by former Speaker Tom McGee, who passed away a couple of years ago, who I met when I first got elected 14 years ago. And he said, "I try to live by the creed that when I put my head down at night, knowing that I've helped even just one person, I've had a good day." And he put his hands on mine and he says, "Smitty, I hope you have a lot of good days." Imagine what world we would live in today if every one of us woke up tomorrow morning with the attitude, "I'm going to try to help at least one person, and I'll have a good day." Steve and I had a lot of good days in 10 years. I wish Steve a lot more good days as your mayor, and I believe in my heart that he will have good days because his heart and his mind and his soul are in the right place. Politicians get a bad name, and how can they not by watching some of the shenanigans that's going on the national level? But then there's people here at the local level, and I'll include Jennifer and Steve in this category. Like the mayor, hopefully like myself, We want to do good things. I would always get frustrated with my dad, who was a local official out in the Berkshires, when other people would take credit for things that he was responsible for. And as a young teenager, I said, Dad, why are you letting so-and-so do that? And he always told me, he says, I know what I did, and the people that I helped know what I did. And the only thanks I look for is on Election Day. And if I do my job each and every day, I believe the next election will take care of itself. That's the attitude of Steve DiNatale. And that's why he's there at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's why he's probably there at 9 o'clock at night. That's why he's there Saturday and Sunday and holidays. Because he loves you, he loves the city, and he's there to do the right thing. So I'm honored to be here. I probably could have flown to Chicago quicker than I could drive here today and home, but I made the right decision because you're recognizing your friend, my friend, and you're raising money for an awesome cause. Rotary, service above self. That says it all. That's Steve DiNatale. You should have a picture of Steve next to that phrase. So I'll close with two, what I'll call Steve-isms. And I don't know if it was him or Yogi Berra. A lower voter turnout is an indication of fewer people going to the polls. And my favorite is the second mouse always gets the cheese. Thank you so much. God bless.
Having fun so far, folks? Good. I have an old friend up here of Steve's who didn't want to say a lot of words, but he wants to come up and say a few words. He's a fellow Rotarian, and he's known Steve an awful long time. He's putting on his jacket now, and I'll give him a chance to gather himself. Mr. Gasparo, would you kindly join us on the dais, please?
Gifts. God, do these people know your ego or what? My God. Vaseline the doorways to get it through your head. That's never mind. Okay. Anyway, Tony Gasparo from Leominster. I've known Steve since kindergarten. So I did the math on the way here. It's 59 years in a row since Sister, whatever her name was at St. Anne's. Sister Mary Ugly, whatever her name was, yeah. We hated it. Oh, God. Is this going to be on TV? Oh, no. The Venerinis. The Venerinis are going to kill us. Okay. I looked up the definition of a roast. Tonight is number 17. A facetious ceremonial tribute. Can you believe that? That's awful. Usually concluding a banquet in which the guest of honor is both praised and good-naturedly insulted in a succession of speeches by friends and acquaintances. Who could insult you? Huh?
You just did.
Oh, come on. God. 12 years of Catholic education. Steve lived up on Lincoln Terrace. And like myself on Longwood Avenue, our parents built the school, St. Anne, so we were going to the school. And then after that, we were going to St. Bernard's. Whether we wanted to or not, we were going. And we did the buses for 3 years. Remember we rode the bus? It was a great bus ride every day. I remember one time when they got brand new buses for F&L, and they had flags on the front of the buses. You remember that day? Brand new flags on the front of the brand new buses. Dino walks in to school with one of the flags. Like, how did he get the flag? Unbelievable. Yeah, right. So senior year, I get a car. So I'm going to pick up Dino. And by the way, his name's Dino. You guys finally have your own Mayor Dino. We got our own Mayor Dino. Now you got a Mayor Dino, too. I know I'm the only one that calls you that, but that goes way back. That was his nickname. So senior year, I got a 59 Chevy. So Dino says, "Hey, you got a car? We're off the bus. Come pick me up every morning." It wasn't a request, it was an order. I'm like, all right, I'll pick up myself, Fabio Uliani, Rolly Bunnell, who's dead, and you. Four of us. Fabio's in New Hampshire. You and I are the only ones left in Massachusetts. He's alive. Yeah, I Googled him. He's not good looking. No. Anyway, so I'm picking up Dino every morning. Be there 7:15. We got to be at. All right, I'll be there. Yeah. I get to his house on Lincoln Terrace, and my muffler falls off. Now it falls off. I can't drive the car anymore. He says, "I got this all fixed. I can take care of this." He goes into someone's trash and he gets a broom handle out and he sticks it in the muffler. I'm like, perfect. We're on our way to school. It's perfect. We get to school, the thing's on fire. I thought you were getting a metal broom handle. No. Gets a piece of wood. Then, not very mechanical, goes way back, right. And then the other event I'll never forget, besides the lockers and homeroom with Mr. Taddeo, I mean, we were in all the same classes. We were in the bell, you know the fat part of the bell curve? That's where Dino and I were. That's right. We weren't with the humanities kids. No. We weren't in the advanced placement kids. No. We were in typing. Remember? No algebra for us. Typing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And not even electric typewriters. Those freaking manual typewriters. I hated them.
We were advanced displacement.
Yeah. So, anyway, Dino was class officer. He was wicked popular guy. You know, we were all like his groupies at that time. So the other cool story about Dino is when we went and got our Social Security numbers. We both got jobs. Remember? Yeah. He got a job at Tom McCann in a warehouse, which is now apartments on Adams Street. And I got a job at Tucker Housewares. So he says, you know, we got to get Social Security numbers. Because that's what you did back then. You didn't get one when you were born. So we walked down to Stewart's, downtown Fitchburg. We walked from St. Bernard's. We get our Social Security numbers. Of course, Dino jumps in front of me in line. Of course. He has the number before me. So I actually know his number. So it's for sale to the highest bidder before we leave tonight. But it's really a great thing that the Rotary's doing for you. It's a great way for them to raise money. It's wonderful you're being the center, that they let you do this, because it's excellent. And we appreciate you. From Leominster, we're saying congratulations to you, because this town needed you. And you were right there. And I think it's great. I think Fitchburg had years of, you know, I don't know if we want to call it neglect, or just different kind of leadership. But now it's from the heart. It's from within. You can't fake what you got. Your heart is in this town. And I know you used to bleed blue and gold. Now you probably bleed red and gray. And that's okay. That's all right. But it was great knowing you all these years. And I'm very proud to have known you 59 years. And I continue to do so. And I was very honored to be asked to come here. So congratulations to you. Congratulations. Good for you. Yep.
And now, the moment everybody's been waiting for, we will be hearing from Fitchburg Mayor Stephen DiNatale. But in just a moment, first of all, everyone who's got up here has talked about the immense accomplishments and how proud they are to have you as mayor of this fine city. And I have a surprisingly tall list of accomplishments to go over for your first year. I mean, we have... I know it's not often those two words come together, but there's... Just in his first year alone, the city has a new chief procurement officer, secured $25,000 from the state for civic engagement, brought changes in the West Fitchburg train schedule. You have the new train station that's opening up, met net school spending this year, developed a balanced city budget that quickly got passed by the council, hired a human resource assistant, a business manager, and a police officer, and also worked closely with Jen Flanagan's office to secure $200,000 for telecommunication infrastructure projects in the city. And Joan wanted me to make you look good, so I'm not going to tell you how much she paid me to read this list. But it's more than my weekly check in radio, I'll tell you that much. So without further ado, here is your mayor, Stephen DiNatale.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. No one told me I was supposed to say anything tonight. I mean, yeah, it's part of the roast? Okay. Hey, Representative Hay, thank you. You limited your height jokes. I appreciate that. Thank you. Joan, thanks. You were painful. But, I mean, no, it was good. It was good. Smitty, oh, my God. He kind of held back, you know. He did. He could have said a lot more. And I want to thank, obviously, Tony Gasparo. We really did. We were kind of like joined at the hip, and for what? Tone, 12 years, right? I mean, educationally, I mean, St. Anne's and then St. Bernard's, and yeah, driving in every day. John Creed, another maniac that we hung around with. Yeah, so it's nice that you all come up with so many wonderful stories about me, and I mean, it's all because of raising money for Rotary and for the good causes that they always stand up for, and I'm honored to be the focus of that, and it's the least I can do. But believe me, if I'm asked in the future to do this again, I will give a very, very considerable thoughts to it. I mean, although it wasn't that painful. I mean, it wasn't bad. Thank you. Trav, I see him every once a month at PKZ. We go in the morning, and he's got a great face for radio. So do I. That's why I love going in there. I go in there in the morning because I'm not dressed like this. I'm not usually dressed like this, am I? I am? Yeah? Okay. Well, no, it's because I've got to go somewhere right away after that. That's why. So, yeah. Is that it? No? Okay. Yeah. Oh, and then there she is out in the audience, Senator Flanagan, my good friend. Jen, thank you. And that's right, I do. I call her at all hours. I don't call her. The wonders of texting, because she loves to text. I mean, she does that stuff. I can't get her on the phone, but I'll text her and she'll respond. But calling her, there's always some issue. I'm in a meeting, Okay. So, I don't know. I don't know what else I can say. It's great. What are you saying things? Oh. He's saying things. Oh. I thought Joanne was saying something. Okay. He was hoping I was done. That's what it is, yeah. You believe the work that DiNatale went through tonight? I mean, I can't believe it. You took a lot of time. I mean, the pictures and all that. The shirt. You know what that shirt is, that reference is from, don't you? Right? Do you know what it is? Home Alone. That's right. You filthy animal. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah. We used to laugh about that. That's what we used to say. Yep. And I never thought I'd have a T-shirt or a sweatshirt saying that. So, again, thanks, folks. I don't know what else we can do. Is there food left over? I mean, I don't know. I mean, oh, we're not done yet. Oh, Dan tells me we're not done yet. Okay. So, thanks again, and let's keep going forward. I mean, thanks.
I met the mayor about 2 years ago When I first moved in here from Rhode Island, my son married a girl from Groton, Mass. And in anticipation of grandchildren, my wife and I moved north, moved the nucleus of the family north. And we are proud to say that she's now 15 months old, our granddaughter. Attending a Veterans Day ceremony, I saw this gentleman with his American Legion hat on, with his Navy third class thing on, and I had my Marine Corps hat on. We immediately engaged in conversation, and he told me that the Marine Corps was a department of the Navy, which I then told him, yes, we were. We are the men's department. When I asked Steve if he would do this, he was very, very happy to do so. As he just said, he's not going to do it again. Jennifer, you're next. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah. I think we can work that out. All kidding aside, I want to thank the mayor for allowing us to do this for him tonight. We raised a lot of money tonight, and it all goes to good things. I have a gift for you, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. This is from Federal Hill in Providence. If you don't know what Federal Hill is, it's strictly an Italian on Atwells Avenue in Providence. This is from Tony's Market. Everything is from Italy, not a thing from the United States. And how you know it's all Italian? Because Vinnie Boombots is on one corner, Rocco No Neck Finelli's on the other side. And being Irishman, I know them all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming tonight. The bar is still open. Enjoy and relax. If you want to take a selfie, he's still here.